Ready? We're live. Hello, hello. Uh-oh, don't close things out that I'm not supposed to. Uh-oh. Hello, hello. Gotta turn my phones down. I'm gonna have a really bad echo any minute now.
Technology.
We're done screaming into the phone now. Oh my goodness, good Sunday afternoon. So I'm here with Adrienne,
Hello.
my personal crystal healer person master. And I started today, which has been really funny all day. I started today with a look at a friend on Twitter's post with his 37-degree temperature.
Whoa.
And my response to him was, "Oh, that's where it went," because it was that way like 2 days ago. I mean, I'm folding clothes this morning, and I'm folding, long sleeves and fuzzy vests, and
Yeah,
and
cozy.
I come to find out that he's in Florida, and I'm like, okay, that's really cold for Florida. So
That's
I've been laughing.
weird.
Horrible, but I've been laughing all day because the temperature and the humidity and the feel here on the lake right now feels like Florida. So it's like we got Florida weather for a day.
That's nice. I was just in Florida and it was picture perfect, beautiful, perfect temperatures, gorgeous water, not a cloud in the sky. The weather gods were smiling upon us and
Mhm.
it was glorious.
What part of Florida did you go to?
Sarasota, right during the equinox timing.
Ooh.
Mhm.
Okay, hang on. I'm trying to get my technology working now. I completely screwed it up. Okay, I think we're set. Hello, everybody. We are actually going to start with I've got two cameras set up today. We are going to start with the musical check-in. Justin's mom and Paisley and Sharon. It's so good to see you guys. Okay, I'm gonna change all the settings so that pretend I'm high tech. Okie dokie. So I was giggling when Adrienne sent me her PDF for what we'll post later because it's information on Sixtina, who gets us all these crystals, and Alessandra, who has a deck of cards that I've had for years and didn't realize it was the one that did this work. So I'm just laughing, going, "Oh, look at that." So I'm going to read. Oops, you need to come over here. One of the cards I pulled, and the directions the way they are: east, south, west, north. The west card is Hathors, which are my little guys I work with. Okay, I can't see far enough to see if that's showing up, but that's the card.
I can see it. I can see it.
Good. I can't. There's a screen way over there. Technology. And the Hathors are weavers of consciousness. And they are from a different universe. That must be why this one feels so weird. If you look into our eyes, you shall fall into another world, another place. We are from another universe. We are here to bring you the threads to another reality. We came to you in those times that you may know as Atlantis, and ancient Egypt. That is where many of you worked with us as temple initiates. I have that memory. You channeled us in long golden fiber robes. We are all one. The Hathors. So, let me get out the camera view, the Hathors and I are going to lead you in some breathing. So take your hand and put it on your heart and or heart chakra. And take a long, slow, mindful breath. And just anchor yourself in your lungs, your chest, your heart. And as you breathe, the heart bowls support you in activating both the chakra and the heart cells, the 40,000 specialized cells that heart math talks about. And as you activate these cells, my invitation is you say a big thank you to Adrienne for being here today. The gratitude of her showing up for us and having fun with this. And as you feel into the gratitude, breathe that frequency from your heart to your head. And the heart frequency activates the brain cells, and it gets in through whatever chattery, stressful, anxiety stuff is going on in your head. As you come into harmony, just direct all that energy around your body, through your body, into a beautiful circle of golden threads around you in Hathor mode. And if you have any of this peaceful harmonic left over, broadcast it into the world, not directing it at anything or anybody, just into the field. Because those that need it know to scoop it. They know what it feels like. And then take a big breath. And come back to center. Starfish! Hey, sweetheart. Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Okay, now I am going to change cameras and sounds so we don't echo. Hello, I'm back. I needed that.
Ew, that
How about the rest of you?
Hathor goodness.
Oh, my goodness. So, I'm so glad you're here.
I'm so glad. Thanks for having me on, really.
Very welcome. So I asked Adrienne to do this, and thank you, Starfish. And we're going to talk about a certain kind of crystals, and so I guess the work of both Alessandra and Sixtina, which perusing your Facebook page as much as I do, I'm like, ooh, I have to have some of those.
You know? Once you have one,
I know.
Floodgates open, and then you have 7, and then it's like, oh boy.
The good thing I'm moving is it's like, okay, no more stuff to pack.
Yeah.
Done. We're gonna stop for a while.
That's what I say too.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. That's what you say too. And then I'm like, ooh, I like that one. I'm like, what do you mean?
And then just 2 days later, post a new one. So, I guess I'll be done when I'm done. And I have not regretted one of these purchases. I don't care what is happening with my bank account, whatever.
It's somewhat like buying Tibetan bowls and gongs.
Yes.
There's a very, just one more. Just one more.
then another.
Marie Hansen, yes, the geese were funnier than all get out this morning because I could hear them as I was doing my normal video out the window and the screen was open, and I couldn't find them. But I never wear my glasses because then I can't see what I'm doing up close. And they finally flew in and they're like, "Yo, human, put the glasses on next time. We were right in front of you." Oops. I always forget about those glasses things. So, you've been doing crystals, my dear friend, for how long?
Oh, since the Atlantean times, I don't know.
Yes, you are you.
Well, okay, so in this lifetime, 20-ish years.
How much? How long?
Maybe 20 years or so.
Ooh.
Long time.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And what inspired you to
Mm-hmm.
start on this?
Yeah, so it's been an interesting journey to get to my weird self. um, I'm just a galactic crystal weirdo, and I'm waving that proudly. Yeah, so how did it all start? Well, probably when I realized that having a normal 9 to 5 job was not going to cut it for me. I'm just not cut for that kind of work. And then one day I randomly signed up for massage therapy school, having never received an actual massage in my life. I don't know. It was just guidance. I just signed up for massage school after college and started taking that healing modality class because I'm like, well, at least if I did this, I could be my own boss and I would be physically, tangibly helping people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So an interesting thing happened in massage school. My hands got activated. And then all of a sudden, when I'm doing my massage work, they're like heating pads. And the instructors happen to notice this, right? And they're like, dear one, you are channeling energy through your hands. So that's an energy modality. Why don't you go ahead and take a Reiki class? Good idea. So,
Okay.
I got into Reiki and was very natural with that. And I think just the process of getting into Reiki just kind of opened up a lot of other doors. And then I was getting psychic readings because I was having a spiritual awakening. And this amazing lady was giving me some information. She said, did you realize that you have a big connection with the mineral kingdom?
Ooh.
I'm like, well, I've never heard that before, but it kind of makes some sense because when I was a child, I was obsessed with rocks and crystals and stones. I had a beautiful little rock collection. When I was 11, I think what I got for Christmas was like a rock polisher. So I was into it. And she gave me an assignment that day. She said, after you leave here, why don't you go on down to Crystal Works, which was a local crystal shop in Austin, and see what happens? I'm like, sounds fun. So I showed up, and at this point, I hadn't done any study about what the different crystals are and the metaphysical properties. I just went in there and intuitively grabbed 3 crystals that I thought were beautiful, took them to the counter, and the lady who was checking me out was the owner of the store, and she looked at them, she looked at me, and she goes, who are you? I'm like, I'm Adrienne. Nice to meet you. She's like, no, what is it that you do? I'm like, well, I'm studying massage therapy and, learning healing. She goes, well, that explains it. You just picked out the 3 most powerful healing crystals that I have in this store.
Do you remember what they were?
Yeah. So one of them was a complex master crystal formation that had like Tao's. It was a cluster. It had like Tao master formations. It was a self-healed quartz. It had all of this groovy stuff going on. Another one was like a conglomerate stone it was a copper bearing stone. So it had like malachites, cuprites, chrysocolas, all of that good copper medicine that pulls stuck energy out and just is really beneficial. And then the other one was an aqua aura quartz. And again, I believe it was like, had multiple master faces on it, like an Isis master, a window. So I didn't know what any of that was, but somehow I knew which crystals to pull. And so that made something click. And it's like, maybe I do know something on a subtle, intuitive level about these crystals. So I just kept following the path and just following my passion, taking crystal training courses from wonderful experts in the field, and just finding that even though I didn't feel very psychically open, I somehow just instinctively knew what to do with crystals. Like I could sense that this crystal was needed and it needed to go here. And then I knew this crystal needed to go there. So at first I was kind of feeling around in the dark, but it was all working out. And then the more you work with crystals, okay, so it's like we were talking about earlier. You get a few and it opens the floodgates. The next thing you know, I have to get shelves. So I get shelves because I have to get more crystals. Then I have to get curio cabinets because I have more crystals. Then I have to get a whole room in my house for the crystals, right? You know, I'm living in a crystal chamber. And, and when you have all of that coherent energy coming from the geometric crystalline structure, and the color therapy and all of this, that transforms you over time and really can awaken your psychic senses. And so over time, a lot of these other metaphysical gifts just started inherently coming online. And I think that's just because I surround myself with crystals. A worthy investment.
Definitely. Do you remember Dan at Broken Arrow?
I do remember Dan at Broken Arrow in Wimberley.
In Wimberley, my first crystal came from his shop about 30 years ago. Yeah, and I still have that one. It was a yellowish orange calcite that a healer said, you need that stone, go get it. And I kept going back in, and I'd pick about 10 little ones, and I had a plastic tool, like you put little screws and nails, a little toolkit thing. So I'd have him carefully label them for me, and I'd put them in their little slot.
Yeah.
About the third time in, he looks at me, because he was sort of like a good old boy.
Sure, I remember.
And slaps his big book on the counter, and it was Melody's original paperback crystal book. He goes, I think you're one of those that needs this. So that was my introduction.
That book.
Yes, I still have that book. But he was, he was so knowledgeable in what I was choosing that I started collecting and labeling so I could learn them. Just small versions of them. Is how it started, and it's never stopped.
Yeah. I don't see it stopping for me anytime in this lifetime or the next or the next. So that's okay.
No.
Makes me happy.
So I'm going to ask you a question. I have been up in Arkansas for, I guess, a year and a couple months now, and brought my Humongo crystal, family with me, a lot of whom are quartz crystal that actually were mined here.
Beautiful.
And what I have noticed since I've been here is that all the quartz develop rainbows, and most of them are starting to grow more quartz on their faces and sides. They're growing again.
Amazing.
Here and on the water and in the energy. What do you know about that?
I just love it when crystals defy the laws of physics as we understand them, which they do that. And I don't know if I have a good explanation about how that works or why, but it's not that common. So it's pretty special that it's your crystals doing that, and it's the place where you've put them, and probably a lot of factors that are causing this new growth and development in your crystals. But yeah, I've seen stuff like that happen. I've heard some pretty wild stories. Like there was this one brilliant master who was meditating with a quartz cluster that had 3 points, and he was holding it. And so much energy came in that at the end of that session of holding it, I don't know how much time had passed, maybe 30 minutes, an hour. Somehow, this is the story, that 2 of those points actually merged into 1. So some really wild stuff like that happens. I have seen that where things kind of grow back, or new manifestations happen inside.
So the self-healing happen. I mean, I've seen all my crystals change over time, and I have seen changes in this last year here that I have never seen. I mean, I know of them. They have been faster, way
Wow.
faster. And these are, well, I can't say that. They've even been the ones that have been in my bedroom, which is where all the amethyst goes because it's shady in there. But, the ones that can go in the sun, they all have rainbows now. It's amazing. It's
And I
really
am
cool.
obsessed with everything rainbow right now. I'm just very obsessed. So I love
Yeah.
that you're manifesting rainbows in your crystal, you master
Mhm.
lady.
Yeah, it's fun.
Amazing.
Well, and you were the one that said I'd be making grids and meeting some interesting star
Mhm.
beings. And one of the clans I met is the Rainbow Star Clan, which is about cleaning air, cleaning all the gunk out of the air.
Oh, love
So
it.
it makes sense because they said, gather all of your rainbow crystals. And so I had a round, grid of them. And then all the rest of them went, ooh, we heard the commands. We're all going to pop rainbows.
Oh
Like
my
the
goodness.
next because they're all packed except the main altars now. But I'm just like, this is going to be really interesting when I unpack these.
No doubt.
See what happens. So you brought fun stuff to show and tell.
I did, because you asked me to talk about what I'm most excited about right now. And I have been absolutely obsessed with purchasing star being crystal skulls. And I
Mhm.
have 4 of them. In the last 2 months, I have just gone crazy. And I'm not the only one, by the way. There's some kind of a big wave of momentum
There's a
where
big wave
there's
of
this
them right here.
yours. Okay. This
I
is
got mine
one
too.
of them. Parkastra.
Whoa, I
They're
like that one.
all, I can talk about all of them individually, but they all want to say hi first. So this
Of
is
course.
Shaia.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
And then we have Alea.
Oh God, that's pretty.
And then this one just came up like a couple of days ago. Aurora. And I don't know if you can tell. It's not going to
Oh,
show. Rainbows,
that's
rainbows,
the
rainbows.
rainbow Labradorite
The
one that I
rainbow
prayed
Labradorite.
over.
Woo! Yeah, insane in a wonderful way. So these star being skulls have really been catching fire lately. And
Uh-huh.
there's one particular source that I'm really enjoying getting them from, and her name is Sixtina Friedrich. I stumbled across her on Facebook. In fact, it was Alessandra Giglioli who made those wonderful oracle cards and the plasma pillars.
Mhm.
She messaged me and said, hey, what do you know about these star being skulls? Look at what Sixtina is putting up. And I'm like,
Mhm.
let me go check that out. So I go on Sixtina's page, and then I'm looking that she has all of these listings of these star beings, and they're beautiful. And you can feel the energy through whatever
Yeah,
screen
yeah,
it is. I mean, they just grab you. And then
yeah.
she had all of these brilliant descriptions about their star origins, like, this one is attuned to Andromeda and Arcturus, and it has a
Mhm.
specialty of working with the minerals in your body. And right. And so
Like
I
this
thought
is
that was,
tell, yeah. Uh-huh.
I thought it was brilliant that she was able to tap in and get that information to kind of
Right.
describe what these different star beings were about. And so I couldn't resist. All right. I'm like, okay, I'm going to contact Sixtina. I'm telling her I'm looking for one. She gave me some options. And so I was very drawn to Arc Astra. And she
Was that
is
that's your first one? That's
this
your
is the first one who came to me. She is
okay.
a blue obsidian, very
Ooh.
crystal clear energy, very precise. And then she's got labradorite eyes and a labradorite third eye. And so I'm like, well, let me just get one and see what happens. So I'm waiting like a kid waiting for Christmas. The mail finally comes. I unwrap this crystal and immediately just am whoosh, there's this energy that comes out that is palpable. It's tangible. It feels like waves of euphoria. And then it starts downloading immediately. I'm like, okay, this is a totally different level
Right.
of what's going on with these star beings. And I've been talking to Alessandra, and we kind of have a theory. So
Mhm.
Sixtina is a badass. She
Mhm.
is a master. I
Yep.
feel like she is like a universal goddess of some sort who is almost like a midwife who can kind of tune into the mineralogical package of the skull. She can tune into all the different star beings and which star beings are compatible with the skull. And she somehow helps to anchor certain energies, anchor certain galactic frequencies, beings, connections into the skull. So she calls it love tuning. And I don't know exactly what her process is. All I know is that it works. So getting something from her has been very, very special. And so again, I get the one, and that one was just like, okay, it's done. Now I'm buying as many as I can possibly buy from her, and she's been lovely.
Yeah.
And so I've been having all kinds of amazing adventures with my star being skulls, like literally galactivations. I feel like I've had upshifts and upgrades in my own psychic abilities. I'm doing my work bigger, better, faster, more. More information has been downloaded into my consciousness about things I never knew about before. I've gotten specific missions coming in that I didn't even know about. So for me, the star being skulls are the most exciting thing that I can be working with right now. So I kind of thought I would love to talk about them.
Well, and I've had the same experience getting, I have a couple of little guys. I like the little guys.
Oh my gosh, look at them.
That's okay. Wait a minute. That one's obsidian.
Obsidian,
And
beautiful.
this one, that one's pewter.
Pewter.
And I got a titanium. I got a normal one for whatever.
Oh, beautiful.
And the big one is the one that's like, you're going to do this. We're downloading that. It's like, okay. So, thank you, Sharon. There have been a bunch of questions. Can we pause and take some of those before I completely lose all of them?
Sure.
Okay. Starfish, you asked, please explain why. Can you give us the context of what we were talking about back then? If I don't remember, I saw it come up. Explain why what, if you can type that in. And Marie, while you're doing that, Marie had a question about any of them, like from the Raiders movies, like Raiders of the Lost Ark. Is that what you're talking about? And you're not joking about that.
Yeah, wasn't there a crystal skull in one of those Indiana Jones?
And wouldn't it have been one of the big master skulls, the big life-size skulls?
Mm-hmm. I can talk about that a little bit because I literally just met the crystal skull, the real life version of the one that movie was modeled after.
Okay, yeah,
if
that's what she's talking about.
Address that, I can.
Yeah, just if you can answer that,
okay.
Just that question.
Yeah, so actually, the crystal in that movie was modeled off of a real life ancient humanoid carved crystal skull called the Mitchell Hedges skull. And this skull was found in an archaeological site in the Mayan lands by an explorer and his daughter, who was named Anna Mitchell Hedges. And there's a story about how she was like a kid and she was climbing on the pyramids, and then she saw something shiny and she found this ancient artifact. And I recently had an encounter where I got to meet this crystal skull because he was in Austin. She, they are androgynous, was in Austin. And the Mitchell Hedges skull was mind-blowing. Now, first of all, my understanding is this skull has been tested by experts, maybe the British Museum. I might be wrong about the source, but they've been tested. And what's interesting is that I think they found no evidence of tool marks, which is very interesting because if you take any modernly carved skull and you look at it under a microscope, you're going to find where the tools carved.
Right. Right.
You couldn't find that in the Mitchell Hedges skull and some of these other ancient skulls. And in fact, some of them we could not have carved at all with our modern technology because the way the quartz had different planes, if we would get them with our power tools, it would have fractured into multiple pieces.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the theory is that these skulls were created by some civilization that was far beyond our current level of technology. Some people believe they were brought here by the star beings in the ancient times, and that because quartz material can store energy, information, codes, that they might be cosmic or earth libraries that are just full of information that we don't yet know how to retrieve. However, some of these ancient skulls are traveling around, and you can actually see them in person and have an interaction with them, and receive their energy. And when I was with the Mitchell Hedges, whoa, it was zapping me. Like I only stood in front of him for 5 minutes, but I'd have my hands out and I'd bring them in closer, zap, 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 zap. When it zapped me, I don't know, it's probably zapping the bugs in my aura. I don't know what it was doing. And so I'm like, thank you. Ouch, thank you. And then waves of love coming into the heart, opening it up, almost an emotional experience. And the message, oh, I know you. Good to see you again. Kind of a feeling.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I met one of those life-size skulls in somebody's private Tibetan artifact collection that they had, and it was a life-size amber skull.
Oh my goodness.
And I got to actually hold it and journey with it, and the skull's like, oh, I know you, and and I mean, I'm like trying to get the age of the skull, and it's billions. I mean, it was billions of years ago. Just it's like, oh, I know you from Atlantis. Yes, you were my skull back then, but the energy of that kind of stone of amber, it was just sweet.
Yeah.
But I haven't met any of the other ones, the famous ones.
Mm-hmm.
But I met that one. So yeah, they're really powerful beings. They're good teachers.
They are. And I've had some wild experiences with that one and Max, the ancient skull, and Shana Ra, because I used to be involved in a wonderful group called Earth Keepers. And we would have these big conferences, a lot of them in Arkansas where you are. And these ancient skulls would always be a part of the conference, and you could have sittings with them. And one time I sat with Max, and he did something to me to where it felt like my hand went inside of him for a second, and then I lost time. And Joanne came to retrieve me, and she said, time's up. I'm like, what do you mean? I just sat down. She goes, no, I'm here for 20 minutes. Okay, you say so. I don't know. It sounds like an abduction experience to me. When you lose time, I don't know what happened there.
Like the movie Contact, when she goes through that thingy dingy and loses time. 18 minutes gone. Yeah. That's exciting.
Yep.
Exciting. Do you guys have any other questions before she goes on? I'm still looking. Oh, wait a minute. Don't do that. Okay. Nope. No, so far, no. Do you want me to show the slide that we have here?
Oh, sure. Since we just talked about Sixtina, in case anyone's interested.
Yeah, all y'all that like to take screenshots, now's your chance, because you've got everybody's stuff right here, and I'm going to make it big.
Right.
Take a screenshot. So this is the beautiful one up on top is Sixtina, and the cards down below are Alessandra's. And I mean, I've worked with you, not with the skulls. I haven't had a session with you since you got the skulls, but with the pillars I have. They're really,
that's right.
They're very interesting.
Her plasma pillars are an amazing technology. I literally work with them for myself on an almost daily basis, just calling them in because they are like a wonderful support system for all of us beautiful star seed, ancient soul people down here on a mission. And her plasma pillars are connected to the Aldebaran gateway, which is bringing through all kinds of new energies, plasma frequencies, and her codes and pillars really help to support us on our earth walk to be able to integrate and activate and rock our missions. I don't know, they're amazing.
and she's got so from what I read, they're actually melted quartz and
Hmm.
reformed like this. And the four that I got were chipped and cracked because I actually worked with cracked Tibetan bowls, so I wanted some that were not perfect, and they fit right in. But she's got these beautiful grids. Is that showing up at all?
I can see it. Yeah. So she's a wonderful artist and came up with the light codes that the pillars sit on
Yeah,
top of.
yeah.
Mhm.
And I always put them in my main medicine wheel. They're in that room.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, I love the sacred geometry and sacred sound and sacred crystals. They're all related.
Absolutely.
It's very cool. I have an old friend that would like to say hi to you once we get this. I unshare here. Doop, 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 doop. Remove.
Oh, hello. I remember you. Beautiful Alessial master coding
Yes.
gorgeousness.
Yes. It still is. Yeah, I bought
Oh,
this from Adrienne at a fair that we were at. She was next door to me, and I'm like, "Ooh, what do you have over there?" And in fact, I had bought a skull from you too. One of the ET skulls that you
mhm.
had was lapis. I think he's packed. And yeah, so this one's like, "Ooh, she's gonna come on! Oh boy, bring me in the room." Yeah, this one
Hi.
actually is in the room. It's in
One of
the
my
healing.
favorites are Alestial quartz.
Yes,
They're amazing.
yes. Okay, so let me see if I can get this smaller so I can see comments. Does anybody have any questions before we go on? Okay, somebody said, good question, Paisley. What'd she ask? Do shapes other than skulls, like unicorns and animals, have any significance?
Uh,
Dragons?
dragons. Dragons, dragons. I got this dragon recently from guess who? Sixtina. Yes,
And the
I
one
do
around your
believe.
neck, too, is a
Ah,
dragon.
this is a let's see. This is a star being.
Oh, that's just, oh, I thought you had a dragon one,
I have a
too.
dragon one
You
too.
do have a dragon one. That's what I thought. That's the first
I
one
have
I
a
saw.
dragon one
There it
too.
is. That one's been by the water a lot.
I love them. All these were from Sixtina. But yeah, so the question is, I do believe that there is a significance when you carve a crystal or stone in the shape of another type of being, whether it's a dragon, a unicorn, what have you. I believe that once you carve it into a specific shape, it comes into harmonic resonance with the being or the
Hmm.
energy consciousness of that
Hmm.
shape. So
Yeah.
she offers these wonderful dragons, and I got my first dragon, and guess what? I was hooked. And I really feel like it becomes almost like a container for dragon frequencies and consciousness to come in and reside and interact with us. I think that's what
Hmm.
happens with the star beings as well. And so
Yeah.
now I am exploring the world of dragons, which is kind of newer for me. And I'm learning all kinds of amazing stuff, like all the different types of dragons. And I'm beginning to tap into my own dragon aspect because I think
Hmm.
maybe there's an aspect of my own soul that is a dragon.
Hmm.
So when
Hmm.
you get a crystal, you're attracted to one that's in a certain shape. I think it will connect you to that frequency consciousness and
Right.
open all kinds of doors for you to interact with those kinds of beings.
Right. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I was gifted a big green jade bear with a fish, like a grizzly bear with a fish in its mouth, many years ago. And my first animal guide was a grizzly bear, and they didn't know this, So but
Oh,
the jade is amazing, and the bear, it's huge and it's heavy, and it's very reminiscent of my badass guide. It's one the protector for all the kids. So yeah, I think the shape and the animal medicine is going to make a
mm-hmm.
difference in a big
Mm-hmm.
way. Um, so thank you for that question, Paisley, and thank you for putting it in all caps because then Jodi can actually see it. It's like hello, hello. Yeah, Autumn does that. She, but all the questions in all caps, and she'll see it. It's sort of hard to keep track of all this. Um, do you? This is something I used to do. I haven't done it as much lately, but I'm probably going to with these guys. Um,
Hmm.
One of my first crystals from Dan's shop was a Faden crystal.
Oh, yes. Hmm.
I have collected Fadens ever since. And I mean, I probably got about 30 or 35 of these guys. And I spent 2 or 3 years with this little one, carried it in a pouch, carried it with me everywhere I went, and journeyed with it. I would meditate, journey with it, and receive lessons from it.
Wow.
Do you do that? Is that how you get to know these guys?
In general, crystals, how do I get to know
Or
them?
new ones? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I definitely believe that each crystal has a consciousness and energy signature that is very unique to each individual crystal. So every time I get a new friend, because I do
Hmm.
think of them as friends,
Hmm.
I do sit down and do a meditative get to know you process.
Hmm.
And it's something I used to teach in my classes when I was teaching crystal healing, which I might do again.
Hmm.
But yeah, I literally drop into my heart. I hold the crystal in front of me. I send a beam of love and light from my heart to the crystal. I open my channels and I greet it as a friend. And I ask it to please reveal to me any information or that I need to know about its special healing properties.
Hmm.
And then the trick is to literally open and trust whatever impressions are coming into your mind, because the crystals can trigger information in a lot of different ways. Like sometimes I'll get images coming in that give me clues, or I'll see a color ray, and then whatever that color ray means to me is a message about their energy. Or sometimes you feel sensations in the body that might be telling you where it can work.
Right.
With these star skulls, it's wild.
Yeah.
It's like so amped up. The amount of information you can get is massive and
Yeah.
specific. And I can tell you about each of my four, but they give me their name, they give me their star origins, they give me
Mhm.
exactly how to work with them, protocols for working with
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Oh, this
Yeah.
is a mission that you need to pay attention to, and here is what we want you to do in order
Mhm.
to activate this over here in this grid. Or, oh, there's a whole new realm of beings that are coming into inner earth that want to interact with you. So it's amazing what you can get if you will just drop into your heart and be open to
Yeah.
receiving what a crystal has to share with you. It might blow
Yeah.
your mind.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We have a mutual friend in common, Nia
Nia,
Word, and
love
she is
Nia.
somebody that I have met up here. And after I got the big one,
Hmm.
she was so cute. She messaged me. She said, "The Hathors say we have to hang out." Oh, goody!
Yes, I am loving
we,
this.
we sat in the sunroom, the crystal room, before I packed anything, and I have some Lemurians in there and some skulls in there and a key to the the matrix, where I mean I got all kinds of weird stuff in there. So and my
Believe it.
crystals, even when they're on altars, when people like Nia, or if you were in there, are around, they want to be picked up and held. Where usually
Hmm.
you can't touch anybody's altar.
Right.
And so we were holding each other's skulls and just channeling away. It was just like,
Oh,
oh,
what
this
a fun
is
party.
fun.
That's
It's been
fun.
great. Well, and she's been really, because she's met all the skulls. Whenever I do a gong bath, she gets the mat right in front of the altar, the crystal
Mhm.
altar, because she activates it. And she had a really interesting impression when this one came in, because
Oh,
I
yeah.
had its description written on a piece of paper, by the altar. And she said to me, "I recommend that you also ask for the personalized information from
Mm.
these beings, rather than, because there's what Sixtina channels in, and she said there's going to be other information for
Yes.
me with the ones that I'm called to." So, and I've
Yes.
been packing and getting ready to move ever since I started getting, I think they initiated this. So I
Mhm.
haven't had the time to do that, but I'm bringing them with me on the road so I
Oh,
can.
good.
Yeah, they're coming with.
Yes, that's what I found too. When I got these skulls, I feel like 16 had like jumped the process off. And
Right.
it was a jumping off point. And then with each individual skull, I got additional information
Yes.
and even
Yeah.
other star groups that were also resonant with the skull. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, it's a very individual process, and
Mhm.
it's really interesting. Like,
Yeah.
I'm blown away, like, with everything
Mhm.
I'm getting out of these. Blown
Yeah,
away.
and and for the people who don't resonate with skulls, because I'm going to
Hmm.
admit I actually used to hate them.
Sure.
I, was,
And that's
I
normal.
really did not like them at all. I contacted one of my friends who made crystal jewelry, and every bracelet had a little itty bitty skull bead on it.
Hmm.
And I'm like, okay, I don't like them. There's an inherent, ooh, something's wrong with these. Why do you use them? And he
Hmm.
messages back, okay, Scorpio sister, we are the sign of death and rebirth. That's why I use them. And I'm like, oh, it was really interesting.
Right.
And I have since then discovered that my resistance to skulls had something to do with Atlanta. So it was just like,
Sure.
okay, the things I really react to, I need to get to know a little bit better. But what I wanted to bring in for those of you who don't resonate with them, because some people don't, is that the relationships that Adrienne are talking about with her skulls can be had with regular crystals.
True.
Any crystal is a teacher. My crystal teachers over the years, because this was when I lived in Wimberley, I'd be sitting out in medicine wheels on the land. And this was the time that my diagnosis of chronic fatigue, was kicking my butt basically. So I was sitting a lot on the land, and I would sit with the crystals, and the trees would teach me that all this stuff that's been proven scientifically, the trees would teach me that they were all connected, they all communicated with each other, and they were all supercomputers for Mother Earth. And the crystals would teach me that they were also supercomputers for Mother Earth. And the request that came from both clans, trees and crystals, was put little crystals with the trees that ask for them. And
Hmm.
I have a medicine pouch with tobacco and itty bitty crystals that, I replenish when I can find itty bitty quartz crystals that I have been placing with trees for years because they're backup computers for each other. And, and it's fascinating to sit with even something itty bitty and just go, okay, I'm going to go into shamanic journey and go into my heart, because that's where we intuit from, and ask for a lesson. I've been doing that for years, and I love sitting with crystals and just asking for a lesson under the trees, because they're both teachers. So I just,
Absolutely.
for if any of you out there don't resonate with skulls, you can do this with any crystal.
Absolutely. You can do one with a rock you found outside in nature. Those are the
Yes.
best.
Yes. Yes. I
Hmm.
have somebody who was in a class I just taught that sent me a little, like one of those hill country fossils, like the oysters, because everything was underwater at one point in time.
Yes.
And it
Yes.
is shaped like the most beautiful heart. And it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
they look like sandstone sort of, but it's like,
Hmm.
I would know that from the hill country anywhere.
Hmm.
So it's like, oh, I get to sit with that too. So yeah, my invitation for those of you who love crystals is ask the crystal for the lesson. That if they come into our lives, there's usually a lesson, a teaching, and often an assignment of how to use them, what to use them for, because they're part of Mother Earth's energy.
Absolutely. And the information that you get directly from a crystal is going to be more accurate than anything you read in a book.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
books are great, but
The books are very helpful, and I use reference books all the time. I even wrote a book. But the direct, if you can open.
back up. Where?
Oh,
You Excuse me, I wrote a book. Keep on going.
Oh, well, it's
Do
called
you
Crystal.
have a copy of it? Can we get the book?
Oh, yeah. Well, so it's called Crystal Healing for the Whole Being. I ran out of my copies that I had. It's a self-published book, but you can still purchase it on Amazon.
Okay.
And that book basically has a lot of how-to, step-by-step exercises that you can do. I was more focused on how do you, now that you have a bunch of crystals, how can you specifically work with them to get results? And it was just all like specific crystal layouts or grids that came to me from working with the crystals.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one I wrote a long time ago. And I have an ebook on my website that is all about, it's a very simple book, but it's all about how to use crystals to clear blockages. And it's a very specific technique for how to check the chakras, detect if there's stuck or blocked energy, and then how to work with the crystals to very quickly and easily clear blockages, which I think is very useful for everybody on the earth. And that's available on my website.
Okay, I just found, if you go to Amazon and Google Adrienne Goff, you get the book. It comes up. Yay! Okay, yeah. I added it to the cart. I am going to. I didn't know you had a book.
Oh, yeah, I do.
The things you find out when you interview people, you think you know. I have learned more about you guys. Just like, oh, did not know that. Okay, I have it on order now. I'll go to your website for the rest. So I want to talk about your sessions because she can do them remotely. I have never had a session with you in person, actually.
That's right.
When I think Kim was the one that referred me to you way back when.
Love Kim.
And I, being the way I am, if somebody is a healer that's stuck a little more in the mundane muggle world, they do not get me at all. And the information is always wrong. And I remember I messaged you on Facebook, like, can you handle this and weird and walk in and beep, 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 beep. And your answer was, oh, goody. You know?
Yes.
The sessions that Adrienne does are, you work with the chakra array and the crystals and all of the information that comes in. And I mean, it is like going on a galactic vacation to do a session with you. I love
that description. Thank you.
Well, it's always, I mean, the information that comes in, even if I'm asking a more mainstream question, the information that you and your helpers bring back, it's expanded beyond just a normal here's the information. And I appreciate that because of how I'm wired.
Oh, thank you. I take that into my heart. That's a high compliment coming from you.
You're very welcome. I love you. Wait, where's my cup?
Oh, I love you too.
So tell us about your sessions and where we book them. And I mean, I just text you, but for the other people.
So my sessions are always very different and interesting. It is like a combination of a powerful energy healing session that would involve going through and cleansing and clearing, removing any kind of energy that is ready to move on, balancing the energy system, activating the chakras that need to be activated, but so much more than that, because I just really follow my guidance. I tune in at the beginning of the session and I ask which higher dimensional beings are most closely connected with you. And so I get an idea of who your current team is. And it's always a fun team. You know, you might have some angels, you might have a bunch of galactic beings, you might have a bunch of little fairies, you might have dragons. So we get a sense of the party, because there's always a party with every session, like who's coming in to help. And I just follow their directions to the very best of my ability and hold space and allow them to work. So it really depends on what is going on with you? But we can get information coming in about other lifetimes, what your soul gifts are, guidance for current life situations. A lot of times they're trying to bring in very specific frequencies and coding to activate something, whether it is an enhancement of your psychic senses and abilities or bringing new things online. So I just follow the directions. But basically, when I do the remote sessions, and the remote sessions are my favorite ones to do, I do a crystal array that I do on a blanket, and I just handpick intuitively which crystals are going to serve the purposes that we need to serve. And so it's like making a personalized mandala of crystals for you, and then doing energy work with that. And then the whole time I'm working, the team is giving me information, giving me pieces. So I'm picking up data, and we're doing facilitating energy work. And then at the end of the session, I can connect with you to share a big download of all of the information that was coming through. If you had specific questions, if, you know, I let you know which beings came in. I let you know what they activated or cleared. And that's usually a lot of fun, the debriefing. And then I also take really nice pictures of all of the crystals that came together to be in your session, and I label them so that you can identify what the crystals are. But even like looking at the photographs after the session, you can still receive their energy, or you might be guided to, oh, look at that, I'm really drawn to that Peter site. Maybe I'll need to buy one of those, right? So I have to go to crystal shop. Maybe you need one of these, because the star beings have been working big time in these sessions, and what they can do, they are major like multitaskers, bringing like this one right here connects to all kinds of cosmic rays and frequencies and ley lines from other places, especially Cassiopeia, Cygnus Alpha, Antares, anchors all these energy lines through the body, works with the energetic circuitry. This one has a cavity on the back of its head, the zeal chakra, and it can awaken the zeal chakra. It's got keys. So like each of these crystal beings has specialties. And so I love it when I'm guided to work with the star beings in sessions. And that's a new development that's really, I think, taken it to another level.
Yeah, I need to book a session with you before I go on my walkabout.
Lovely. You got
it. It is time. Well, and I haven't had one. I mean, now that I have a few of my own, it'd be interesting to have, because they're going to talk to each other.
Oh, yeah.
No, they're going to talk to each other. They collaborate. That would be fun. Okay, so Katie's talking about record keepers. What do you have to, in the few minutes we have left, what do you have to share with us about record keepers?
Record keepers, one of my favorite types of master crystals. So a record keeper is one in which, if you look at the quartz, it's usually on a quartz point, you can find etched triangular shapes on the faces or the body of the crystal. And I think Katrina Raphael, my teacher, who I got my certification from, is one of the first to bring through the information about the record keepers. Her channeled information is that these are actually storehouses of specifically coded information, that the etched triangles are codes. And there is information inside of this crystal. The other thing is, if a specific record keeper crystal finds you, there's no accident with that either, because the information that is specifically encoded in that crystal is somehow relevant to you, your soul, or your life. So it's very special if you happen to find one or one comes to you. And so it's also then going to be a meditation process to try to unlock what is in there. And that's part of the journey.
Yeah. I have a big record keeper on a smoky quartz.
Ooh.
Which is, and yeah, I know it's packed, which is interesting because I've only seen them on clear quartz, but this one is really, it's on a smoky. I love smoky quartzes.
Love
and
smoky.
It's a very Scorpio type of stone, the go into the mystery of the darkness. It's like, oh, this is fun. Ooh, a record keeper. Yeah, when I get landed after this traveling, I'm gonna be gridding my stones differently where I'm moving. So,
and you will do it like a champion, perfectly guided. I know you.
Well, I'm going to be able to put them outside, which is going
Yeah.
to be nice, which will be good. So we have less than 1 minute left. Oh my
That's
God.
a
Anybody
little
else have a quick question? Yes, no, maybe. I don't see one. So, me and the kids want to thank you for bringing your kids to visit.
Yes. Which ones want to be on camera? They say hello.
What stone is a Leo stone? I do not know. Do you know that?
Leo stone, I certainly do because I wrote a series of articles for Nature's Treasures about the
Oh, that's
zodiac
right. You did
stones.
that for the
And,
zodiac. Yeah.
and I have 5 planets in Leo, so I'm very familiar with Leo stones. Um, so wonderful stones for Leo. Of course, the birthstone of ruby and peridot. Citrine is fantastic. Sunstone is phenomenal. Pyrite is great. Carnelian. Um, am I forgetting? Those are some of the main ones that come right to mind.
Cool. I have all of those and love them. I don't have any
Yes,
Leo in me. Oh,
you know.
well. A question about how to store crystals.
That
Have
is
you
a
all
good
stored your
question.
crystals?
Well, I I like to ask my crystals like how they want to be stored.
Mhm.
In my personal crystal room here, I have erected a lot of different kind of glass shelving, and I like to ask them how they want to be arranged. And so sometimes certain ones want to sit next to other ones. I have them kind of organized by function and color ray. I also have trays, but I like to put like a soft material cushiony. Some of them need to be cushioned.
Right.
Some crystals are so fragile too that they have to be treated with a whole lot of care. So they might need
Right.
like a separate pillow space.
Right.
Some of them don't do well in the direct sunlight because the sun can fade or crack them. So you might want to be aware to not put them in a windowsill where or outside where they could get too much sun exposure. But in general, I follow my intuition. I have lots of trays, containers, shelvings. When I have my Gemisphere necklaces, some of them have to be stored in special ways. Like some of them, it's even recommended that you put them in natural moss. I don't know. I forget.
Ooh.
Maybe it was
Ooh.
sodalite. And so certain stones might have specific requirements or preferences about like what kind of a container, uh,
Mm-hmm.
what kind of cushioning. So I don't know if
Yeah.
that really helped or not, but that's my answer.
Yeah, and and Marie, you've got an interesting question. I know you don't put a bunch in a bowl. I have a couple of like one's glass and one's pottery from California, big trays, and I have had groupings of crystals that have all wanted to go in there together.
Mm-hmm.
Usually they're the polished ones,
Mm-hmm.
so they don't chip each other. But I have that is something that's been a consistent yes for some of my crystals that all like to hang out as a big clan.
Mine too.
Yeah, it just depends. I mean, it depends on the space we have in the house because, you
Yes,
know, and how many shelves you have to buy. And
a
I
lot.
enjoy, yeah, a lot. I enjoy these round 3-level glass shelves because I've got one in
Mhm.
clear and one in black. And, different crystals look great like that. So it's fun. It's
It
fun.
is fun.
Amethyst. Yeah, amethyst and fluorite fade in the sun.
They do.
Amethyst. I like that. She invented a new stone.
Oh, cool.
I know. This is the dang AI that changes the spelling. I have seen some
Wow.
dingers lately. So, oh my God, Adrienne, thank you so much.
Oh, this was so fun. I really enjoyed getting to talk crystals with you and everyone here.
Yeah, so thank you guys. The live chat will show up on the video on YouTube
Mhm.
by tomorrow, and I'll get some of your website and stuff on just the regular, commentary thingy dingy that we can do. And I am I am I am fixing to getting my Texan back here.
You gotta get it back.
I'm fixing to go back to Texas and out to Phoenix and work. I mean, I'm doing sessions and musical events that I can set up, and I the alchemical wisdoms will be eventually changed to Wednesday night. I think a lot of what I'm going to do when I'm on the road is grab whoever I'm staying with and go, come on, we're going online. You know, let's go play. My cousin in Phoenix will kill me. You know? so, so I'll get back to interviews at some point when I land and anchor again. And yes, I am coming back, Marie. I am coming back. I get to do a whole run through of most of the places in Texas I used to work, which will be fun.
Well, I hope
Um,
to see you.
you definitely, yeah. Let's plan something for
Let's
Austin.
make
Kim
that
is like,
happen.
Kim is
Yeah,
like, I have a couch. I have a couch. You got to come
that's
stay.
right. Kim has a
Kim,
wonderful
Kim
space.
is the one I have lived with her a number of times, and I've had near deaths a lot in this lifetime. And every time I'd have one, I would move back into her house because she had one rule: no dying on my watch. It was like,
That's a
yeah,
good
there's
rule.
one rule. So, I love you. I love Kim.
She's the best. She's
I
wonderful. I love
know.
Kim too. And she's got a lot of star beings. She's part of the clan
I know. Well, she's the
finding the
one that
star
finally
beings.
pushed me
Mhm.
over. She pushed me over the edge. I was able to look at yours and go, yeah, that's really cool. I don't need those. And then she freaking texted me the picture of her first one. And I'm like, okay, where do I get
Uh-oh.
one?
Here we go. Here we go.
Here we go. Look what she started.
You're in good company. People all over the place, lots of earth keepers. We're all buying them.
Yeah. Well, and the
There's
way
something
I
up
look
with
at
these.
it is we all grid these things up all
Yes,
over
we
the
do.
world, whoever owns them. So we
Mhm.
are anchoring a whole blessed different energy on this planet. So
Yes, we are.
so thank you everybody. Thank you for all the really cool questions.
Yeah,
Thank you.
great questions, everyone.
Yeah, good questions. I love the questions.
Hmm.
And I'll be on every morning doing my goofy meditation thing I'm doing. So, and Adrienne, I'm in book session with you, so don't get off here when we get off. And
Sounds good.
love you guys, Johnny. I will see you later at 7 on your thing. I think it's on your channel tonight, if I'm not mistaken. Tarot's Apprentice. I believe I saw that earlier. And love you all. Thank you, thank you. And I'll see you soon.
All right.
Okay, and now my mouse won't work.